Welcome into All Things LA Real Estate. My name is PK Knoll. I am running point on this channel. We're heading out to Mount Washington for your January real estate update. Happy New Year to everybody out there. We're going to break down everything you need to know. Mount Washington, in my opinion, a very desirable neighborhood to get into on the east side. Definitely one of the more up and coming, affordable in comparison to some of the surrounding neighborhoods, and there's some opportunities available. 2023 was not the best year in real estate. We are optimistic about moving things forward, but we're going to tell you exactly what's going on in the neighborhood, current statistics, month over month, year over year. Let's go. As we jump into the current numbers out in Mount Washington, this is one of the neighborhoods that I'm certainly keeping my eye on. I think it's something, if you're not familiar with it, if you're somebody who's looking to buy on the east side and you haven't taken a look into Mount Washington, I certainly think you need to, because logistically, from a finance perspective, there's opportunities available. It sits kind of just south of, your Highland Park, Eagle Rock area. So it gets a little bit of, Glendale, Silver Lake, Pasadena surrounding, and all those areas are higher ticket prices. And Mount Washington has a nice homely sense to it, an opportunity to actually purchase a home with a little bit more affordability if you've been getting priced out of, let's say, Highland Park or Eagle Rock. But currently, we got 18 homes available for sale in Mount Washington. That's been a pretty consistent number if you compare that to what we saw in 2023. We are hoping, the Fed has made it, pretty apparent that they're going to be doing rate cuts this year at some point. The anticipation from the economic and finance, areas is that we'll have 3 rate cuts. I anticipate that not to start to happen until probably mid-year. But if we start to see some rate cuts, we could see inventory start to bounce back. And hopefully we can start getting into the 20s, maybe the 30s when it comes to inventory in Mount Washington, which we haven't seen in quite some time. Minimum price to get in the neighborhood right now, $795K. What you're going to find from the Mount Washington neighborhood is a lot of consistency. There's not big lows. There's not super high highs. So you get a lot of things kind of crunched into the same kind of bracket as far as affordability goes. And you see that the minimum or the maximum price right now on the market is 1.95. So we don't have a home over $2 million in Mount Washington, which is kind of unique for some of the nicer neighborhoods on the east side. Our average is 1.157,200. That is the 3rd month in a row we've seen out in Mount Washington our average be under 1.2. We're typically through kind of the middle part of 2023, that number was north of 1.25. So we got some room to kind of bounce back in regards to that. But what that kind of shows you is there might be some value plays. Definitely get out, take a look into Mount Washington and kind of see how things are progressing, because, you got to find value, especially if you're somebody who's financing. We have seen, over the past few weeks, some rate reductions. We actually just had a big bounce back up in rates, but you're obviously going to be on the high end when it comes to financing a home. So you got to find some value, and maybe out Mount Washington is where you'll find that. Our median price right now is $999,000. And that's the number you can kind of look at. Sometimes with average, there's some outliers that affect that. It's not necessarily the case specifically in Mount Washington, but really from a logistical financial standpoint, you look at Highland Park, which is that neighborhood just touching to the north of it, $1.2 million median price. Eagle Rock, just northwest, $1.5 million median price. So you can see where there's some gaps as far as some value goes. So if you're getting priced out of those neighborhoods, you've got to start looking in Mount Washington, because the neighborhoods are low on crime. They're nice neighborhoods. You're getting kind of the same quality as far as, the homes. Lot size obviously varies a little bit slightly in Mount Washington, but it's certainly one of the more up and coming east side neighborhoods just for, kind of families and homes to come in there. Days on market right now, 38 days. That is great. We're really, when it comes to the days on market number, what we really look out for is when things start getting up into the 60-day range. That's when sellers start to lose patience. That's when you start to see price drops. We're not having that issue in Mount Washington currently. Taking a quick peek to see how 2023 started off in January in Mount Washington, we only had 1 sale. It did sell at 23% above that list price. So, somebody obviously paid an extreme amount of money. Make sure you are very careful if you are going to pay 23% above a list price, because it's going to take you many years to get back to basically get into a position where you're profiting, getting appreciation above what you paid off of that home, assuming it was correctly listed. My guess was that home was sold via cash buyer, but I don't know that specifically. Let's jump into December, see how the year closed out in Mount Washington, get some relevant information for those of you who are looking. Closing out the year in Mount Washington wasn't the worst December, but all things considered, it was a down year in 2023. In December, we saw 10 homes close out for the year. That is down slightly where we're typically seeing 15, 18, 20 homes selling in the Mount Washington neighborhoods. If you're somebody who's following along the channel, that information you obviously know. But we did get to 10, which isn't a terrible perspective. The minimum price that was sold in December was $811K. Our top end was $1.5 million. It has been months since we've seen a home sell for over $2 million in Mount Washington. You can see that with the average list price. There's just not a lot of high ticket prices. And essentially, it's very simple, right? When rates are high and you have a high ticket price, you really get into a position where buyers can't afford to finance something over $2 million. So it's been a while since we've seen any kind of high ticket price. But if you're a homeowner in the Mount Washington area, those are kind of the things that really jump up the bar as far as the neighborhood goes. So we're going to keep our eye on that number, because if we start to see those sales go above north of 2 million, that kind of gives us a little bit of insight, if you're a homeowner, that some appreciation is coming on your house. So it is a good sign. You always want the ceiling kind of moving up if you're somebody who lives in the neighborhood. If I'm a home buyer, possible opportunity, as I've talked about continuing this video thus far. Average as far as the sale price, 1.345,500. Median, 1.342,200. That is the second highest of the year out in Mount Washington. So we kind of, you see that, right? Because we had a $1.5 million high end and 811 low end. There's only 10 homes that sold, but our average is 1.3. Our median's 1.342. So what we saw in December is a lot of homes selling right in that $1.3 million range. Pretty consistent as far as the value consistently throughout the neighborhood. Days on market was 27. Nothing to worry about in regards to that. From a year-over-year perspective, we only had 9 homes sell at the end of 2022 at 106% clip. So we did have about a 10% increase year-over-year, which is nice. We saw many months out in Mount Washington have major declines, 20, 30% in some of the summer months. So we're hoping when we start comparing things to the 2023 year, that 2024 brings us some good positive news when it comes to some year-over-year perspective. We get a little bit more action in the market, but we're going to have to see some rate cuts. We're going to have to see avoid the recession that some people still maybe anticipate. But my view on it, in a realistic perspective, is that it's an election year, and like most election years, the economy tends to get pumped up as you move into the election, so the president can get reelected. So I'm anticipating some of that kind of political shenanigans going on, and hopefully we can get some of the benefits of that here on the real estate side. So we are scrapping homes that have caught my eye for this month. It's typically those of you who follow along's favorite segment, because we break down some homes, take a look at them, break down the finances. I find you some value. But we're just we don't have enough inventory. It's going to be a little bit repetitive to past months. So we're going to give it 1 month. We'll be right back at it come February and start breaking down some homes. If you're interested in the homes that are on the market and you want to kind of see how things are going, reach out to me. I'm always happy to help. Thank you so much for watching the video. We do this every single month for almost every neighborhood on the east side. We're doing Pasadena, Silver Lake, Eagle Rock, Highland Park, Glendale, La Cañada, El Sereno, Cypress Park. The list goes on and on. So like and subscribe to the channel if you are so inclined. If you're somebody who's looking to purchase a home on the east side of Los Angeles or sell your home, I am happy to help out with you. Reach out to me. You can send me a direct message online, or all of my phone numbers are listed. Even if you're somebody who's hesitant with 7% interest rates, that puts us in the same boat. It always helps to start preparing for future opportunities, because you don't want to miss the boat there. We will tread lightly. We will look for value, and we will get it done. I also do a ton of other videos. I get into the schools. I get into, the restaurants in the neighborhood. I get into the attractions in the neighborhood. I do some other fun videos like quick cribs. So once again, like and subscribe if you are so inclined. Have a great day. Be kind. Yeah.